मॉर्निंग सेवेंथ क्लास हमारा चैप्टर खत्म हो चुका है रेस्पिरेशन इन ऑर्गेनिजम्स। बेटा आज हम रेस्पिरेशन इन ऑर्गेनिजम्स की डीजी क्लास देखेंगे। ओके, आप देखिएगा इसे डीपली। रेस्पिरेशन इन ऑर्गेनिजम्स। ओके, सेवेंथ क्लास लेट्स सी हाउ वी ब्रीथ। हम सांस कैसे लेते हैं ये आपने देखना है, इसलिए हम सांस कैसे लेते हैं। ओके बेटा, how we breathe.
Breathing is the mechanical process which results in the passage of air in and out of the lungs. Let's learn how our respiratory system carries out the process of breathing. Before that, observe this experiment. Why are the balloons inside the bottle being inflated and deflated? When the rubber air at the bottom of the bottle is pulled, the pressure inside the bottle is reduced. This creates a difference in air pressure inside and outside the bottle. As a result, air rushes in and the balloons inflate. On the other hand, if you push the rubber layer inwards, the pressure inside the bottle increases as compared to that outside. This causes the air to move out. The balloons now deflate. The rubber layer in this setup represents the diaphragm. The space inside the bottle is analogous to the thoracic cavity, and the two balloons are like the two lungs. As in this setup, breathing also works on the principle of difference in air pressure. Breathing is carried out in two stages: inhalation or inspiration and exhalation or expiration. Breathing in is called inhalation. During inhalation, air moves into the lungs. Let's see how this happens. Inhalation starts when the muscles of the diaphragm contract and flatten in shape. Simultaneously, muscles present between the ribs contract. This causes the ribs to move upwards and outwards. The chest cavity expands. This reduces the air pressure inside the thoracic cavity. Consequently, air enters the lungs from outside via the nostril, pharynx, larynx and trachea and the bronchi. The air finally reaches the alveolar region, which is richly supplied by blood capillaries. In the alveoli, oxygen diffuses into the blood and carbon dioxide moves from the blood to the alveolar region. This completes the inhalation process. During exhalation, carbon dioxide-rich air moves out of the body through the nasal cavity. Let's see how this happens. Now, the muscles of the diaphragm relax and it returns to its dome shape. Simultaneously, the muscles present between the ribs relax, bringing the rib cage back to its original depressed position. These changes cause the volume of the thorax to decrease, which in turn causes the air pressure inside the thorax to increase and causes air to leave the lungs. This completes one breathing cycle, and the process starts anew with the next inhalation. Why do doctors recommend breathing exercises to get relief from fatigue?
ओके बेटा, सांस लेते हैं नसल कैविटी से तो एयर इन एंड आउट होती है, ऑक्सीजन अंदर जाती है, कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड बाहर आती है। नसल कैविटी से हमारे चेस्ट में जाती है और फिर उसके अंदर एल्वियल्स होते हैं, वो एयर एल्वियल्स में जाती है तो वो फूल जाती हैं और बाहर निकलते ही वापस उसी पोजीशन में आती है। लगातार ये प्रोसेस होती रहती है। इस प्रोसेस को बोला जाता है रेस्पिरेशन प्रोसेस। ओके बेटा, रेस्पिरेशन प्रोसेस। अब आगे देखिए नेक्स्ट,
During hot summer days, we enjoy sitting under the shade of trees. But why is it not advisable to rest under a tree during the night time? No, this is not a fictitious horror story. It is about a scientific fact. The reason behind this advice is that plants are giving out only carbon dioxide during the night. We know green plants photosynthesize and give out oxygen. But this process can occur only during daytime, in the presence of light. So, where is this carbon dioxide coming from? We breathe all our lives. We do so to take in oxygen-rich air and release carbon dioxide-rich air. Do plants breathe the same way as we do? Let us see two demonstrations to find out if plants breathe out carbon dioxide and breathe in oxygen. In the first demonstration, we have covered a plant and kept it in the dark to ensure that the plant is not photosynthesizing and there is no air exchange happening with the outside. A tube is connected from the jar containing the plant to another jar containing clear lime water. What do you observe after some time? The lime water turns milky. This shows that the plant is releasing carbon dioxide. The second demonstration also uses a plant kept in the dark. The cover plant in this case is kept in a glass trough full of water. Potassium hydroxide crystals are placed near the plants to absorb any carbon dioxide present or released in the jar. What do we observe after some time in this case? The water level rises in the glass trough. This happens because some gas is being used up by the plant, so that an empty space is created. Since there is no carbon dioxide inside, we conclude that the plant has absorbed oxygen. These activities show that plants also breathe by taking in oxygen and giving out carbon dioxide. But why do plants need oxygen? Like animals, plants need oxygen to break down their food and release energy. A plant respires even during daytime, but it is difficult to demonstrate because at this time the processes of respiration and photosynthesis are taking place simultaneously. In plants, which of these processes continues during day and night? Photosynthesis, respiration. Do plants have a respiratory system like ours? No, they don't. Since plants don't move, their energy requirement is less than that of animals. During respiration, every exposed part of the plant can exchange gases directly with its surroundings. But the main sites for gaseous exchange are the tiny openings on the lower surfaces of the leaves, known as stomata. The oxygen diffuses inside the plant and carbon dioxide passes out through the stomata. Observe this beaker. It is full of soil. Is there any empty space left in the beaker? The answer is yes. The beaker is still able to accommodate some water. This shows that there is empty space between the soil particles. These spaces contain air, and this air is used by the plant roots for breathing. Oxygen diffuses inside the root, and carbon dioxide diffuses out. In the absence of air in the surrounding soil, the roots fail to respire and die. This is why plants die in waterlogged conditions. Mangroves are the plants that grow in waterlogged soil. To respire, the roots of such plants grow out of the marshy soil. These breathing roots are called pneumatophores.
ओके स्टूडेंट्स, हमारी तरह ही पौधे भी सांस लेते हैं बेटा। अभी आपने देखा था पौधे कहाँ से लेते हैं, लीव्स से। उसके अंदर स्टोमेटा होता है, स्टोमेटा से वो एक्सचेंज ऑफ गैसेस करते हैं। CO2 लेते हैं और O2 बाहर छोड़ते हैं, ऑक्सीजन छोड़ते हैं और कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड लेते हैं। लेकिन रात को वो भी ऑक्सीजन लेते हैं और कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड छोड़ते हैं, इसलिए कहा जाता है रात को पेड़ों के नीचे नहीं जाना चाहिए। ओके बेटा, तो ब्रीथिंग इन लीव्स बाय द प्रोसेस ऑफ फोटोसिंथेसिस। फोटोसिंथेसिस की प्रोसेस से प्लांट्स रेस्पिरेशन प्रोसेस, ट्रांसपिरेशन प्रोसेस करते हैं, एक्सचेंज ऑफ गैसेस करते हैं। ओके बेटा, ओके देखिए आगे।
We need energy to perform all our activities. Do you know from where we get this energy? We get this energy from the food we eat. Our body produces glucose from food. And then, in each cell, the glucose is broken down to produce energy. This process is called cellular respiration. Let us now see how glucose is broken down during cellular respiration. We need energy to perform all our activities. It produces glucose from food. Respiration. We know that we inhale oxygen during the breathing process. This oxygen is transmitted to each cell. The cells then use oxygen and break down the glucose to produce energy, carbon dioxide, and water. This type of cellular respiration is called aerobic respiration. What happens if there is no oxygen? Will cellular respiration not take place? Even if oxygen is not present, cellular respiration happens. The glucose breaks down to form energy, carbon dioxide, and alcohol. This type of cellular respiration, which takes place in the absence of oxygen, is called anaerobic respiration. Therefore, there are two types of cellular respiration, aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration produces more energy when compared with anaerobic respiration. When you overexert your muscles, the cells in your muscles do not receive sufficient oxygen. At such times, the cells continue to respire anaerobically. This leads to cramps. In such situations, you need to take some rest. During this time, the cells collect sufficient oxygen and respire aerobically. After this, the cramps gradually disappear. Therefore, there are two types of cellular respiration: aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration produces more energy when compared with anaerobic respiration. When you overexert your muscles, the cells in your muscles do not receive sufficient oxygen. At such times, the cells continue to respire anaerobically. This leads to cramps. In such situations, you need to take some rest. During this time, the cells collect sufficient oxygen and respire aerobically. After this, the cramps gradually disappear. Do animal and plant cells respire in the same way as human cells? Animal cells respire in the same way as human cells. In plants, glucose is created during a process called photosynthesis. And during cellular respiration, glucose is broken down to produce energy. Let us do a quick recap. Breathing includes inhaling oxygen, and cellular respiration is the process of producing energy from glucose. The cellular respiration that occurs with oxygen is known as aerobic respiration, and cellular respiration that occurs without oxygen is known as anaerobic respiration.
ओके स्टूडेंट, तो आपने देखा अभी एरोबिक और एनारोबिक दो तरह की रेस्पिरेशन होती हैं, एरोबिक रेस्पिरेशन और एनारोबिक रेस्पिरेशन। एरोबिक रेस्पिरेशन में क्या होता है बेटा कि आप ऑक्सीजन के प्रेजेंस में जब सांस लिया जाता है, रेस्पिरेशन प्रोसेस की जाती है तो एरोबिक रेस्पिरेशन कहलाती है, लेकिन ऑक्सीजन के एब्सेंस में जो रेस्पिरेशन होती है वो एनारोबिक रेस्पिरेशन कहलाती है। ओके बेटा, तो दो तरह की रेस्पिरेशन के बारे में भी आपने देखा था, एरोबिक रेस्पिरेशन और एनारोबिक रेस्पिरेशन। एनिमल्स और ह्यूमन बीइंग एक तरीके से ही श्वसन क्रिया करते हैं, रेस्पिराई करते हैं, लेकिन प्लांट्स रेस्पायर करते हैं थ्रू फोटोसिंथेसिस प्रोसेस। ओके बेटा, थ्रू फोटोसिंथेसिस प्रोसेस। ओके बेटा, ओके बेटा, ये चैप्टर इसके साथ ये भी हमारा खत्म होता है।